The beeping of the monitors was the only sound that kept me tethered to reality. Tubes lined my arms, my chest ached with every shallow breath. And yet my thoughts weren't on the pain. They were on Claire, my wife of 7 years. I had been rushed to the hospital after a near-fatal accident at work. Broken ribs, internal bleeding, a long road to recovery. The doctors made it clear I wasn't out of danger. Through the haze of medication, I looked for her face every time I opened my eyes, needing the comfort of the one person who had promised never to leave me. At first she was there. She held my hand, whispered reassurances, told me to stay strong. But as the days passed, her presence grew sporadic. Nurses mentioned she would leave for long stretches at night, claiming she needed rest. I tried to believe her. After all, hospitals were exhausting places. But something inside me whispered that her absences weren't about rest at all. Then came the moment that confirmed it. A close friend, visiting late in the evening, saw her leaving the hospital parking lot. Not alone, but sliding into another man's car. They drove off without hesitation, while I lay inside, fighting for every breath. The truth hit me harder than the accident itself. While I clung to life, Claire was chasing passion elsewhere. It was almost unthinkable, but the signs had been there all along. The hurried excuses, the distracted tone, the phone she guarded like a vault. She hadn't just failed me in my weakest hour. She had betrayed me at the very edge of my existence. I didn't let on that I knew. Instead, I lay still, conserving my strength. Because as my body healed, a colder, sharper determination was building inside me. If she thought my condition made me too weak to see through her lies, she was wrong. The next morning, Claire walked into my hospital room with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She set a bouquet of flowers on the bedside table, kissed my forehead, and asked how I was feeling. I played along, answering softly, hiding the storm brewing inside me. Every word from her lips sounded hollow now, rehearsed, like lines from a play she no longer believed in. Later that day, one of the nurses, a kind woman who had seen more than she let on, leaned in as she checked my for. In a low voice she said, "You deserve someone who's really here for you." The words confirmed everything I feared. My wife's betrayal wasn't a secret to the staff. They saw her slip away, returning hours later with excuses too flimsy to cover her tracks. I decided to confront her differently, not with rage but with silence. When she came in the evenings, I no longer reached for her hand. I kept my eyes on the window, my replies short, my gratitude absent. She noticed. Her questions became sharper. "Why are you acting like this? What's wrong with you?" But I refused to give her the satisfaction of an answer. The truth would come soon enough. Then fate gave me an opening. One night, while pretending to be asleep, I heard her phone buzz on the tray table. She had forgotten to silence it. A message lit up the screen. "I'm outside. Don't keep me waiting." My chest tightened, not from injury but from clarity. Without a word, I pressed the call button for the nurse and asked her to note the time. I wanted evidence. The next day, when my brother visited, I told him everything. His face hardened with anger, but I asked him to stay calm. Instead of exposing Claire immediately, I wanted her to believe her secrets were safe. Because when the truth finally came out, I wanted it to cut deeper than any sudden outburst ever could. A week later, I was strong enough to sit upright without wincing. The doctors spoke of progress, of slow but steady healing. Inside, though, I was sharper than I had ever been. That evening, Claire arrived with her usual strained cheer, setting her purse on the chair. My brother was already in the room, his expression calm but unreadable. I turned to her and said, "Claire, why don't you tell me where you've been going every night?" Her smile faltered. "What do you mean?" "I've been home, trying to rest." I motioned toward her phone on the table. My brother slid it closer to her. "Then maybe you can explain the messages. The one from him. The one where he waited outside while I was in this bed." The color drained from her face. She stammered, tried to spin excuses, but the walls had already closed in. I didn't shout, I didn't beg. I simply said, "You left me to die alone, while running to another man. Whatever we had is gone." For the first time, she had no defense. Her hands shook as she packed her things, realizing the performance was over. She left the room in silence, the door shutting behind her like the final nail in a coffin. The divorce that followed was swift. With evidence gathered from the hospital staff, the messages, and her own carelessness, the court sided with me. She tried to fight for sympathy, painting herself as overwhelmed and confused, but her betrayal was too blatant to ignore. She walked away with nothing but regret. As for me, I left the hospital with more than just a healed body. I left with clarity. Betrayal doesn't just break love, it reveals the truth about a person's soul. Claire had chosen selfishness over loyalty, and in doing so she had freed me. Now every breath I take feels like defiance. I fought for my life alone, and I won. She thought I would be too weak to notice, too broken to resist. Instead, her betrayal became the very reason I stood taller than ever before.